Hey, everybody. Ash, how are you?
Mo!
Hall H. Wow. Wow.
Hello and welcome back to A Stark Contrast, where we discuss the differences and similarities from Marvel Comics to their MCU counterparts. And we are your hosts, Geoffrey
and Dai.
Hello,
everybody. Back in the same room again, Jeff.
Yes. It feels nice to be back.
Crud free. Yeah, so we're not even gonna dilly-dally, right? We're just gonna get into it, because this episode is very different.
This is gonna be one of those curveball episodes where we had an episode plan on a character, but we'll still do.
Yeah.
But no, both of us really didn't realize that we probably should do an episode like this until way after the fact. And I was just like,
Comic-Con.
I think we need to do one on strictly the announcements of Comic-Con, because there was just so
much to unpack.
2 whole phases.
Yes. 3. 2.5. 2 1/4. Because we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But so on the heels of San Diego Comic-Con, we're gonna go away from the usual, and we're gonna talk about all the things Marvel and Hall H related, because there were some gigantic reveals at this year's Comic-Con. Yeah. But before that, can we just quickly talk about the encounter with the Scarlet Witch at Avengers Campus?
Oh, guys. Oh, if you follow the Instagram. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, it's so good.
It is literally my phone background. Look at this. Look at this. Die. Oh, yeah.
I love this. So, real quick, I made a trip because, my pass is about to expire. I'm trying to get as many days at the park as I can to get my money's worth. I went to the park. I was like, hey, let me go get a Mew Mew. Let me go get a Mjolnir. So I went around and I went to Avengers Campus, circled back, saw a bunch of, I started to see a bunch of characters start to come out.
Yeah.
And then I passed by the Guardians area, and I noticed that there was 2 or 3 cast members, and I was like, why are they in that spot? And then I realized that they were with somebody, and then I looked closer and I was like, oh, it's Wanda. And I kind of stood there for a few seconds, and I was like, okay, I've seen her, I'm good. But then I texted Jeff.
She did.
And Jeff is like, Die. I will Venmo you right now to go back to see her.
And I said that because I was like, she probably won't. There's probably a line.
I knew it.
She's probably only going to be there. Wanda's probably only going to be there for she's going to leave.
A second. Yeah. No, exactly.
It's hard
Absolutely.
to see her.
And then, of course, on my end of the spectrum, I was like, I'm going to do it because he doesn't think I'm going to do it, because I was about to leave. I was like, I only stay for 2-3 hours.
I was out. I was out too the whole day. I was out with friends, and I was like, whatever. Whatever.
So I circled back, and by the time I had gone back, I expected her to be gone. It would be a different character, whatever. And not only did I run into Sam Wilson, Captain America, she was still there, and the line was still open. So I was like, oh, heck yeah, I'm gonna get in line. And so everybody else is actually taking pictures with her and talking to her for themselves. And so I approached her and I was like, hi, I've been sent here on a mission from a friend
that was
who adores you.
Great.
Yeah, and I said, who adores you? Not that I don't. And it was so funny because I stand by the fact she almost cracked a smile. We were both standing her, even though you weren't there. She could feel. And so she was, and she ever so in character was like, what's his name?
I was like,
and then I said Geoffrey, and then she goes, and then just a pro just melts into the video camera lens and is like, Geoffrey.
She never broke.
And she never broke.
I was at a coffee shop with my friends, guys, and we were just drinking coffee, chilling, waiting.
See, you didn't tell me this part.
Oh
yes,
yeah, so
I'm
we were in the coffee shop just waiting, hanging out. We're killing time before we go to. I think we were doing an early dinner. We're there sitting down because it's hot, whatever, drinking coffee, and then I get a text from Dai, and it's just the video file, and I just see the thumbnail of Wanda, and I was like, oh, I propped up, and I just looked at my phone
no.
It's like checking. The feeling is like checking like your grade on the final online, and you're like, oh my God, what is this? Oh, did I pass? Whatever. I open it, I play it. It's the literal first lines. She's like, hello, Geoffrey. And I was like, oh my God. I couldn't freak out as much as I could in a coffee shop, but I was just like, my two friends who I was with, it was Brandon and Damien who listened to the pod.
Yeah.
And I was like, guys, look what Dai just sent me. And I'm like, I'm putting it on loud, and they're just like, she says, hey, hello, Geoffrey. And they're like, what?
So good.
And I just have like the whole weekend that I got when she sent it, I replayed it so many times. I love that.
Yeah, he told me like 2 days later, he's like, Dai, I'm still watching this video.
You have no idea like how much like I don't even finish the whole video because every time she says my name, I'm like, Jesus, I can't handle this. Oh my God.
Melting. God. I love it. I'm here for it. Was so worth it. So worth getting it. Yeah. So worth it.
Oh my God.
I'm so
that's
glad.
Forever. Like,
yes.
Dude, I reposted it on my story. My roommate, he was just like, it's insane how exactly she sounds like her.
Just like her.
And I was like, yeah, it's insane. And people are, and like I got some DMs that are like, what the hell? And I'm like, I love her. Oh,
I'm so
God.
glad. I'm so glad. Yay!
Oh my God.
Yay, Jeff. and then we learned how to make a live video for your lock screen. So,
I know. I Googled the crap out of it. How to turn a video into a live video to make it my wallpaper.
Yes, perfect. And I think you can do the audio too.
Not
really?
not live screen, not live
really?
photos on wallpapers. It doesn't.
Got it.
It's fine because it's the section where she says hello, Geoffrey, and I'm like,
you're like, I'm good.
Yeah, we're good.
You can hear that.
Oh,
picture.
we're good. Oh, we're good.
Fantastic. Okay, well, now that we got that excitement out of the way, so fulfilling. So yeah, let's go on and talk about the show, the convention. So.
But before we do,
sure.
Why we wanted to do a Comic-Con kind of recap was because we literally have two different perspectives of Comic-Con Hall H. Yeah, literally. Like Dai was literally in the building physically watching everything that I could not physically see because I was just keeping up on Twitter and there's no real live stream of it, which is beyond me.
Right.
But I get it.
Yeah.
So I know there was like some exclusive like teasers that were played, and I was just keeping up on Twitter, just seeing all the different announcements that were announced. And as soon as I saw a handful of the announcements, that's when I was kind of like, oh, we should definitely cover these.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. So let me preface this with like, it's the first real San Diego Comic-Con back since summer of 2019.
Yes.
Because as we all know, we had to lock down, and 2020 was a wash.
Been 2 years
and 21
since in person then.
Yeah, and 21 was kind of a wash because they did a special edition in November, which I also went to, but it was like the tiniest baby version of the show you can imagine. It was just quite literally the dealer's hall and maybe like 5 panels. And that's it.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Yeah.
Nothing crazy, no big brands, no big companies, nothing. So this was the first time that the show came back in full force, to for the most part.
Yeah.
But also, like, this is the convention of conventions. Like, no joke, this is like 140,000 people strong, give or take. The biggest show you could ever go to with so many creators, so many comic sales people, so many creators, so many movies, everything you could imagine is under that roof.
Yeah.
So I guess I wanted to kick it off real quick with the stuff I got.
Oh, yes.
Because I actually didn't get that much, and I was thinking about this while at the show. I got there on Wednesday night because I had a bunch of stuff to do because I was also there doing some collaborative work with HBO for my day job. And it really enabled me to kind of get stuff done, like rather than just kind of like schlep around and figure things out. But yeah, so I was thinking about it when I was there, and I was like, you know what? Like, progressively, as I've gotten older, obviously, it's funny that I have more money, but I buy less stuff. But the stuff that I buy the quality is higher.
Yeah.
Or I'm just so much more pickier that I just like don't do the thing where it would be all about pops. It would be about any good art that I saw. Now it's like more about, okay, well, what's limited edition? What's numbered?
Yeah.
What's the quality of the product?
Yeah.
Or if it's somebody that I'm just super duper in love with. So, speaking of people I'm super duper in love with, I have this poster of Yelena Belova. So I actually stopped by Andy Park and Ryan Meinerding's booths.
Oh,
they
nice.
have booths there.
Yeah.
And they actually exhibit and they sell stuff. But Ryan Meinerding, I assume, is just so busy. He doesn't really rotate his stuff out as much.
Okay.
And the stuff that he does, it's just big. I don't have room for this stuff. Like
okay.
Yeah, he did like this incredible Moon Knight concept art.
And it's
incredible.
humongous.
But it's humongous. And I was like, I don't have room for that. And then like he did like a Black Panther one and a Thanos one. I was like, nah. So I bought some prints from Andy Park, and this
looks
is
so good.
the Yelena, because the Yelena concept art is fantastic. And he did me a doozy and signed all of them for me too.
Wow.
And it was really nice because he remembered me from WonderCon.
Woo!
Woo! This Black Widow movie poster art that he did.
Good.
Yeah, and he's just so nice. And then, last but not least of the Andy Parks, the Jane Foster, the new Jane Foster look.
That's concept art, right?
And this is concept.
My
This is his concept art. Yeah, it's so great. So I picked that up. And I think I have like Nebula and a couple Spider-Man ones from the previous years.
Oh, it's the man himself.
It's the Pizza Papa poster. Yeah. So I stopped by the the Doctor Strange booth because they're promoting the digital version.
Just came out, yeah.
Yeah. And so they had a nice little activation where you could take a picture if you want, put on the cloak of levitation, and then before you leave, you got to play with the Pizza Papa cart, and it wasn't really anything much. Like they're not actually
Edible?
No. Well, that too. Yeah, you couldn't eat the pizza. I was kind of disappointed.
I know.
They weren't actually counting or anything. Like they're just like, play this game, and there's no real tally. they just have one of their people on the side just going 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like, yeah.
Nice.
They were just giving out posters. So I
Nice.
have this poster of Bruce Campbell. The Pizza Papa always gets paid. And then, so my lovely friend Tula Lote was a guest at
yeah.
the show as well, and she debuted a new poster.
Why is it
Take this back away.
humongous?
It's gigantic because it's part of Mondo, and so Mondo releases high-end art like prints, right? And so because she is just the most lovely woman and talented woman, she gave me this as a gift.
Wow.
So I believe the edition is 100 or 150. So that's it.
Oh my gosh.
And this is the con exclusive color. So this is the red version. There's also a white version. And so, Jeff, if you'll hold the other side of it, I'll unravel this beautiful piece of art.
Oh my God.
And she did a Black Widow one. So it's Scarlett Johansson.
Holy.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Wow.
Right.
This is insane.
She is fantastic.
Guys, this is like massive.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm like, this is definitely going on my wall. Yeah, beautiful work. And so she did this poster. It's absolutely fantastic. I think the both variants are sold out. So if you got one, you got one. If you didn't, well, better
Man,
luck
that's
next time.
insane.
Yeah. So if you haven't yet, she was also there for a new title she released with Scott Snyder. So check out Barnstormers on Comixology if you would be so kind. And I got the things, Jeff.
You did.
I got the trading cards.
Oh.
So these are the ones that are every year. Upper Deck releases Comic-Con exclusives for Marvel Studios. And so these are What If, Hawkeye, and Moon Knight. And they're going for twice as much per pack online.
Oh my gosh.
And I got my two pack minimum or maximum. I haven't opened them yet, but I saw both your wifeys are in there, so that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yes. Let's see. I got my bag here. And so also on Wednesday night, I was lucky enough to go to the Spider-Man Hall of Fame induction at the Comic-Con Museum.
Whoa.
So I did this VIP reception. Oh, bag sounds. And so it was very fun. The Comic-Con Museum has been around for roughly 2 years now.
Okay.
The first character they pulled into the Hall of Fame was Batman. And so it was
Okay.
only fitting that Spider-Man was this year's recipient. But it's great. It's just an exhibition head to toe from the beginning to the current. They go through his entire timeline. They have the comics there. They have original art. They have stories on Stan Lee and Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby, John Romita, everybody. It's actually quite fantastic. Lots of Instagrammable moments. And then they gave us a swag bag at the end of the night.
A whole bag?
A whole bag. And so this bag came very cool. 2022 Spider-Man.
Holy hell.
They gave this like my mighty first book of Amazing Spider-Man. And it's really cute. Because if you open it, he swings through the city to fight crime.
Oh, yeah.
And then my favorite page is right here. He is good friends with Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane
I
Watson.
love it. It's like watching like a Dora the Explorer show.
Exactly. It's really, really cute. So those are new. That's a new line of books. Got another copy of this
Nice.
now released book, Spider-Man Social Dilemma. And then Spidey and His Amazing Friends with my baby girl Spider-Gwen.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's very cool. And I picked up a shirt because it's pretty, like, very of the exhibition. Nice plain gray shirt. Really nice. Yeah, that was really fun. Let's see what I got here. I got a limited edition Spider-Gwen Hallmark ornament.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's one of 3,000. Con exclusive as well. So that's pretty cool. Apparently not going to be sold online. I don't believe them. That's what they tell you at the show. And then for the highlights of this bag, Jeff.
Oh. Oh, no.
Don't kill me. So I got you something.
No, you didn't. No, you
But
didn't.
you don't. Okay, here's my stipulation, because I know that you don't want to collect stuff too much. I know you don't want to go full nerd, and I know that you've got some things, but I couldn't help it, and I got these two items. You don't have to keep both, but I would love for you to keep at least one. Okay?
Okay.
And
Guys,
so
I literally have no idea.
He has no idea, and so the first of the two items
Okay.
is this special edition. I believe it's a show edition. It doesn't have the San Diego sticker on it,
Okay.
but it says special edition, so you can only get it at conventions. Is this Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness Scarlet Witch Scarlet
my
Witch Pop?
God.
So there's this one, okay,
Oh. My God.
and or this this new release from my dear friend 100% Soft Megamoji
No.
of Scarlet Witch. There is a theme going.
Oh my gosh.
So you can sit throughout the rest of the show as we record and decide which of the two, if not both, that you would like to keep for yourself.
I might be getting diagnosed with
Because
something.
genuinely, these are not for me. So if you don't take both, I will find a friend to give the other. But that's for you, friend.
My love for Scarlet Witch is going very, very, very public. It's insane.
Yeah. And that's a pretty good looking pop.
It is. Funny enough,
Yeah.
I've never owned a pop.
Really? See,
no.
and I couldn't remember that, right? I was trying to think, like, what? Does Geoffrey have pops? And I was like,
I
nah,
don't.
he hasn't
I
fallen
don't.
into that dark hole
I
of
haven't. No.
plastic yet. So that's why I picked up this one first.
Oh my God.
Because it is simple. It's just a little, like, it's a literal emoji
They were
made by my dear friend.
They would literally fit so perfectly on my desk.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. Oh, and then last but not least, I'm just gonna put this hat on real quick.
Oh my God, you got the. I saw that on Twitter.
It's the Multiverse Saga hat.
That honestly, that was probably the only thing where I was like, "Damn it!" Like,
Sorry. I should have taken 2 tickets.
I
should
love
have taken
that.
2 tickets. I'm so sorry.
it's such a sick ass hat.
Yeah, so we'll talk about this a little later, but I will say I do have the last 3 Marvel hats that they've given out. So every year in
That's
in
right,
Hall H,
yeah.
Marvel Studios gives swag, and so sometimes they gave. I believe one year they gave. which movie? It was Black Panther and maybe Thor or something. I got 2 really nice heavy stock posters. Then, I used to give t-shirts. This t-shirt, actually, oh my gosh, I just realized.
Nice.
It's Stark Expo 74.
Nice.
This is when Iron Man 2 came out. And so they give you cool swag every time. And so back in the day, I have the Marvel Studios, the coveted Hall H, July 23rd,
Whoa,
2016 hat. And then the Black Widow hat from 2019 before everything went to crap. Yeah. And then, last but not least, the new baby, the Multiverse Saga. And on the back, it shows Phase 4, 5, 6.
That's crazy.
So, heck yeah, hat collection is growing. And honestly, this is, I think, why I don't buy stuff anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because why do you need to buy stuff when you get like this?
Like, that's like super, super limited
and it's
edition.
super limited edition. So you have to literally be there to get that.
Yeah.
You cannot get that anywhere.
I love that.
So, that said, we have some comments from our lovely Patreon patrons to help us get into the show talk.
Let's
All right.
do it. We have loads of names to bring up.
Oh my goodness. So, Ariel Tima says, what are you most excited for Marvel and in general? I mean, we're definitely going to get to that. Absolutely, because there's a ton of stuff. In the next, probably 6 hours of this show, we're going to talk about all the exciting stuff. Any advice for people who would like to go to a con? So that's an interesting one.
That's on
because
you.
Jeff and I were talking about this before we started recording, and like Hall H itself is such a process, but I would, first and foremost, you just kind of got to go to a show. You got to go to like a convention if it's in your town. Like, for instance, LA Comic Con would be a great one to start at. WonderCon is also a pretty good one. Something that isn't too crazy. Like, if you throw somebody into San Diego,
It's probably overwhelming.
it's sensory overload. And we were texting about this while I was there, and it's genuinely so many people, so many things to look at that it is and can get very overwhelming for anybody. And I've been going for like 20 years.
Yes.
And I'm still like, whew, there are moments where I'm just like, oh God, you really have to navigate yourself through this whole river of people and things and get from places to places to places. So yeah, I would say start small. And because San Diego also is so big.
Yeah.
Like, you have to take a tram to get to your hotel half the time.
Jeez.
Yeah, and there's just so many people. And so there are activations on site, off site. You got to go to the Hilton Bayfront. Then you got to go down to this hotel. Then you have to go to the Hyatt. Then it's nuts. So yeah, start small. That's the best thing I could say. Favorite purchase from this con or any con? Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I like most of my favorite purchases are the key issues that I always end up getting, and also like the slabs. So the graded comics are usually my favorite because you can haggle and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see it and not just buy it on eBay as an impulse buy.
Yeah.
But the hats are definitely like my favorite things.
There was like the one thing where I'm like, oh man.
I knew I should. It was funny because like when I was in the hall, very quickly, I was in the hall and I was recording the Wakanda Forever stuff. And they were passing the tickets down the line. So you have to take one and pass it down. And I put it between my kneecaps here and I pulled. And then I handed the rest back, but I had 2. But they count the tickets. So I on my conscience, cut the second ticket and then passed it down. If I'd kept the ticket, I would have been like, I have a hat for my friend Geoffrey.
I mean, I wonder how
yeah, right.
how strict they're
pretty. They count them. They literally count them before they pass them down. So I was like, oh, what are the odds? I know. It's like, I haven't checked eBay yet, but I'm sure they're like $80 per hat.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. When will you both go to a con together and record? Is Hall H as intimidating as it seems? Yes. Yeah, I know. We were supposed to go to Los Angeles Comic Con together. It fell through because of our scheduling. I don't know when we're going to go to a show together.
I know. I also have to mentally prepare myself for that. Even if it is a small con, I'm like...
I feel like it would end up being Los Angeles or WonderCon, though, because those are two local ones that aren't too overwhelming that might actually fit into our schedule. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And then, Hall H is definitely as intimidating as it seems. Again, I was telling Jeff about this. You have to line up literally the day before for a full day just to get in. and not even get in, to get a wristband to hopefully get in.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, I was explaining to Jeff that you have to stand in line. The lines always start like at 12 a.m., maybe even the night before, depending on who the guests are. And you got to stay in line to get a wristband. The wristbands are then distributed by letter. So if you're in group A, you're solid, you're good to go. If you're in group B, you're probably going to get in, but it's not 100% sure. And if you get letter C, you might as well figure out what else you're going to do, because you might not get in. And I've been on the C team before, but I've thankfully gotten in.
Jeez.
But it is grueling. Like, you really do have to like sit out there all freaking night, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It really does suck. You have to have a whole process. So I wouldn't suggest that so much, but it didn't always used to be that way. And I'll tell you, the first time it started turning like that, Twilight.
Really?
Twilight and Harry Potter is what changed it.
That's interesting. Harry Potter, I get. Yeah. But I just wasn't never aware of like how big fandom was at the time.
That was the turning point.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the turning point when people started to kind of like, I'm going to be first in line. And then like there didn't used to be tents there. Like you could just stand in the line or just walk into the hall.
Wow.
Yeah, those days are very long gone. And so once these films and these trilogies of fiction started to kind of surface, that's when it really started to get crazy. And then, because what year was that? 2010 or so. Yeah, and then by the next year, forget it. Like Marvel was like full steam ahead, and like Captain America, Winter Soldier and all that stuff was coming out. Forget it. It was done. Like that's... And then DC was coming up too. Oh yeah, boom. Man, it was all downhill from there.
I mean, yeah, they get all the exclusives too, you know. So it's
exactly.
Like,
yeah. And so, on the trend of questions, Nats says, "So excited to hear about Sdcc. Are there any Hall H panels you were not at but would love to have been?" Yeah, I wish I was at Keanu. Because the Keanu sense Berserker, he did the Berserker thing for his comic book. Yeah, he's a great comic book out. You should check it out. It's pretty graphic, but it's awesome. And he also released the John Wick footage.
Yeah. Oh, he did.
Yes, and so I would have liked to have been there for that. I did not get to get into the hall for WB and DC's presentation. But The Rock showed up in costume as Black Adam. Yeah. I didn't get to go in because my HBO allowance allowed me from their panel onward. So HBO was after WB. So I didn't get in until 11:30. And it sucked because I could hear it from outside. And I was like, what's happening? And then I was like, of course, he came in costume. Nats also said the supernatural ones always look like so much fun, and the Tom Hiddleston moment. Yeah, the Tom Hiddleston moment was crazy. I know the listener Melanie, my dear friend Melanie, she was actually at that one.
One where he came out.
Loki. Yeah, and then there was also the year that, I don't know if that's the same year, but the year that Karen Gillan had like shaved her head.
That's right.
And she pulled off her wig and threw it off. Pretty memorable moments. But every year is pretty memorable in some fashion, right? And we'll talk about this year's later. Of all the cons you've been to, what were the best panels you've attended? It's tough. It depends on the moderator, depends on the people talking. So it depends. But Hall H, I tell you, especially Marvel, I'm a little biased, but they're some of the best panels I've ever attended, aside the one that I did host myself once upon a time.
What?
I've done one. I've hosted one panel. It was at Heroes Con 2018. Okay. Maybe 17. It was the last convention with the original Spider-Gwen creators. So they were all together at the same time from Volume 1 and 2. The last show that all three of them were at, and I got to moderate that panel. It was very cool. Yeah. So I got that under my belt too. Yeah. And then finally with the questions, Joe Liz asks, was Sdcc more or less hygienic than Chicago? How were the safety protocols? I can assure you, Joe Liz, that it was much better and much safer than Chicago. Let's just say that the particular company that has the programs that like in Chicago, like that chain of conventions is a little different than Comic-Con itself. So Yeah. Short answer is yes. They were very good about the masks. They had reminders every 5 minutes. You had to be vaccinated or negative test to even step into the building. So that was fantastic. And despite all the people, survived. Negative tests all around for me.
Woo!
And yeah, woo. No Concorde either. So that's great. This is just my usual tonsil allergy self that you're hearing. So that's great. Safety protocols, though, I will say, like, I'm surprised in this day and age, not to go a little morbid here, but there's a distinct lack of metal detectors and such. So that's always concerning, and thankfully nothing happened. So knock on wood. But yeah, I would love to see more of that at shows. What was your favorite cosplay to spot? I don't know. Did you see any online that you thought were pretty cool? Because like for me, it was just like the
Funny
usual.
enough, I didn't see anything that stood out to me. I think
Yeah. Like, granted, there were very many costumes that were great.
The one you sent to me, a Vishan.
The Vishan
was hilarious.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, Vishan was nice because, like, for me, it's not so much of like how well they do the costume because, to be honest, you can buy a lot of stuff now.
Funny.
Like, you can just go on eBay or whatever and get you a great Moon Knight costume for $250 and you're done. And so the craft isn't there anymore as much as it used to be. But there were a lot of fantastic looking cosplayers across the board, like homegrown and professional, if you will. But yeah, Vishan has to be my favorite one because he was so unique and I just like happened to see him in line. And I was like, oh my God, it's Vishan. So he was great. What's in your bag? Sdcc edition, aka what should you pack for a con? Definitely water. I always have like 3 beverages in my bag at any time with the water bottle and then like a caffeinated drink and then something else. Snacks for sure, especially at Comic-Con, my God. And then battery packs. Like everything else.
Power bricks, I think, are essential for sure.
Essential. Like you don't need it. Well, and sanitizer. But that's it. That's survival pack. And then who are your favorite people to go to cons with? Joliz says that because I see Joliz at New York Comic Con every year. Nice. So maybe Joliz, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I just love going with anybody. You know what I mean? Like I do love going with people and friends and especially people who've never been before. I'm like, let's go.
Soon. Hopefully soon.
Exactly. So with that, let's jump into some panel talk.
Oof.
So we're going to start with Marvel Studios Animation, first and foremost. So this is an interesting one because this is the very first Comic-Con that they've actually done this panel at.
Yeah, because it's Marvel Studios, but it's technically it's their animation.
It's their
department.
animation.
Yeah.
So this panel was actually on Friday afternoon, and I went after. Speaking of podcasts, I went to a panel for my favorite podcast, who happened to be there. Last Podcast on the Left. So they were actually at the show. And because they just released a comic book, a graphic novel, and they're on the heels of ordering, and they just announced a volume 2, and so Polka Dot Man himself is part of Dashelman. I can't pronounce. I'm so sorry, but David was there as well, and I believe he edited or wrote some of the stories.
Okay.
So that was a treat. So I got to open my Friday morning with them.
Nice.
And then my schedule almost overlapped because they were done at like 11:30 and the animation panel started at like 11:45 or 12.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, now I got to run around the corner and go down the hall. And thankfully I made it. Didn't have to wait in line.
That's
Plopped
good.
myself in the 4th row and I was like, cool.
That's good.
And I had no idea that it was Marvel Studios Animation. I just thought it was Marvel Animation.
Oh, really?
I just thought it was going to be...
Did anyone not know? Like, because you guys got
label.
in?
Yeah, the label didn't... Like, it just said Marvel Animation.
Oh,
it didn't say anything. And it said, like, Ryan Meinerding. I was like, okay, cool. I love him. I have a crush on that guy. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
He's a great creator. That's all. But yeah, so I was like, okay, cool. And then realizing then, oh my gosh, with the first topic that they talked, the first show that they talked about, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm in for a treat because it was I Am Groot.
Oh my gosh.
So you watched the trailer, I'm sure.
I did. He's a little cutie pie.
He's so cute. And I said this to Jeff that I was surprised because when they announce stuff and you see the logo, it's one thing, and when they start talking about what the show's gonna look and feel like, that's another thing. But to see it, completely just pulls it all together, because I know James Gunn had said, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be like the animation of Volume 2." And I was like, but what does that mean? Is it like real backgrounds with the CG Groot?
Yeah.
Or is it full CG? And I would say that it's full CG.
Full CG,
but
for
it
sure.
still looks very realistic.
It looks really good.
So what are your thoughts on the trailer?
I mean, I was just like, I didn't know what to expect, because I was like, okay, it's just Groot, it's just baby Groot. And I was like, and then I saw how it looked and everything, and I was like, oh, this looks fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're short. I think they're about 10, 15 minutes each.
Okay.
So at the convention, they did announce like, okay, well, it starts out as five episodes for the season. And then like they had the showrunner there, and she confirmed that they were doing 5 more. So it's going to be a 10-episode season.
Oh, okay.
And then she confirmed that Vin Diesel is indeed voicing Groot for the series.
Guy's getting a bag, man, for
Yeah.
saying 3 words.
Oh, that script. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my God, it's got to be hard.
But the cherry on top is that Bradley Cooper is also returning as Rocket for some episodes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Nobody's
awesome.
talking about that. I'm like, she literally said
I
it.
didn't see that.
Yeah. And so they're both coming back. So they ended up actually, on top of the trailer, they ended up showing us the first episode, or an episode of the series.
Yeah.
Without getting too spoilery about it, it's very much like what you would expect. It's Baby Groot, Volume 2. So it probably takes place between Volume 2 and clearly like Infinity War. Wait, when did he first turn into adolescent?
It was
in
Infinity War.
Or even the end credit of Volume 2.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because he's already an adolescent there. So it's in that small nugget of time where he's still a baby, he's still adorable, he's still getting into mischief. And he happens upon like a mud pile. Like
Yes.
it rained and stuff,
Yeah.
and he's like, let me put on some mud. And basically his leaves grow out of control.
Oh, okay.
And so it's all these scenarios of like what he could look like is different.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really cute. And they introduce more space creatures, and so the Vilus make an appearance at some point, and some new species come into the mix. But yeah, they're very short, very sweet, very cute. I absolutely adored it. Thanks to James Gunn for retweeting me yet again and ruining my notifications. But yeah, it's great. It looks really promising, so I'm excited for that. And then they talked about Spider-Man Freshman Year,
Ooh.
which is a new Spider-Man cartoon which focuses on a clearly high school Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I know people were a little confused at first because when they first made the announcement, it was like freshman year, like college, and it's like, no, it's high school. It's definitely high school. So we've regressed a bit with the education of Peter Parker, and so in this series, I don't know how many of the details you looked into, Jeff,
I
on this one.
saw that the role of Tony Stark is now being played by Norman Osborn, right? Type of like in that deal. I saw that.
Oh, I don't know about the detail, but Norman Osborn is in it.
Norman
Yeah.
Osborn is in it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then like his best friend in the series is going to be Nico Minoru, who is part of the Runaways. She's also a sorceress.
Oh.
And so that's an interesting mix. So
Hey.
there's no Ned. It's none of that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's none of the stuff we've
its
seen.
own story.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so Harry Osborn's in it, and a few other characters. Who, by the way, Harry Osborn, I believe, is Asian. He's of Asian descent in the show. So that's very interesting that the
Yeah,
liberties they're taking.
super interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, let's see. And yeah, the villains lineup is what you can imagine. Lots of classics, some new. Looks fun, but the big reveal of that show was that not only are they already renewing it for a season 2 sophomore year.
Jeez.
Gee, I can't imagine. Are they going to do all 4 years? Maybe. But they announced that Charlie Cox was going to return as Daredevil, both in the MCU and also voicing
That's
him
insane.
in the show. So I was like, dang.
Good for him.
Charlie Cox is just like,
Good for him.
right?
man.
Like, we saved Daredevil, y'all. Like, this is so great.
Good for him.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. That was my big takeaway from that panel. Well, at least from that portion of the panel. I absolutely loved that and loved that news. And then they talked about What If Season 2. Woo! And so the character lineups are great. They mentioned that some of the characters from Season 1 were returning. Obviously, it's like the what do they call them? The Guardians of the Multiverse are returning. But also, it segued into Marvel Zombies. So that was great to see. So it does look like it's taking the animation style from What If.
Okay.
For the most part. They did announce all the zombies that were going to be featured, many of which we've seen that did not quite perish from Season 1, like Captain Marvel and the Wasp, and also like the half of Captain Rogers. Because you know how Bucky sliced him in half. And in the panel, they even said, they're like, that's not how you kill a zombie, Bucky. You got to aim for the head. So the Captain America zombie is still very much around. And then they also mentioned how the new roster of characters is going to, who's going to be on that team, which includes Yelena Belova and Kate Bishop.
Yes.
Shang-Chi.
Yes.
I forgot his adversary in the movie as well. And a few others, which I thought was pretty awesome.
They showed an episode, right?
They showed an episode. Not of Marvel Zombies, but of What If.
Of What If.
So I saw an episode of What If. Non-spoiler review.
Everyone died.
No, it is a Captain Carter-driven episode. It does feature Bucky Barnes.
So it's continuing. That's the Captain Carter story.
Yes.
From the first season.
So she's still the origin story is the same. And they also confirmed in the panel MCU Captain Carter is not the What If Captain Carter.
Yes.
Two different people.
Yeah.
Multiverse.
I know. Oh my gosh.
So Haley Atwell returns as Captain Carter. Sebastian Stan is Bucky Barnes. What else can I say? Steve Rogers is in it with the what do we call his, the Hulk
yes,
Hulk,
the big iron something,
the iron bust. I'm gonna regret not remembering.
Same.
That is in it as well, but there are, as you can imagine, many twists and turns. It's not what you expect. It has the Red Room in it.
Oof.
It's great, and there's a town that's reminiscent of, God, so many things. I can't even say it without spoiling it. But it's a great episode. And like I think I mentioned on Twitter, it appears that we're going to veer into the land of 1602 in What If Season 2. Now, are you familiar with 1602?
I'm not.
So 1602 is quite literally the year 16,002.
Okay.
So it's not an Earth.
Wait, 1,602 or
1,602.
Okay.
So 1602 in the year 1602.
Okay.
So it's more of a Renaissance sort of thing.
Yeah.
And essentially those characters are like of Shakespearean time frame.
Okay.
So we're going to see a little bit of that.
Oh.
And so I think that's going to be in a couple of episodes where they show characters of that Earth.
Yeah.
And I can also confirm that your wife, Elizabeth Olsen, is coming back as Scarlet Witch officially now. Because before, she was just not speaking or anything, right? She was a zombie Wanda.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's officially coming back in a speaking role.
Yeah, some more ways
So
to
that's gonna be
enjoy
fun.
the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, and I don't recall how many episodes that they were going to do for What If or Marvel Zombies, but yeah. Oh, and then they revealed that Icarus was going to be one of the major zombies.
Yes, I
was
saw
like,
that.
oh,
they're going eternal in this mother.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting because they're probably going to show, spoiler alert, show that Icarus dies in Eternals, and then maybe he's coming back from the sun, and Yeah, exactly. Jeffrey's making a face. It's like,
yeah, I forgot about.
right? You forget he's dead.
I forgot that he flew into the sun.
Exactly.
Is he dead though?
I don't think he's dead.
No one ever truly dies in the
way.
MCU, unless your name is Tony Stark.
I know. No such luck. So that's gonna be really fun. And then Jeff. Oh my God, Jeff.
Oh yeah.
Then they brought X-Men 97.
We've heard that song twice now in MCU movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So of course, name them, Jeff. Come on, you can name. No pop quizzes.
Which one?
Where did we hear the X-Men 97 theme?
We heard it the first time in Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
When young, Patrick Stewart comes through.
Okay.
And then the second time which is so unexpected too, because you can tell by the reaction on Twitter, no one expected this.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. We will be talking about this
in
the next episode.
Yes.
But the second time that song played was in the season finale of Miss Marvel.
Yes.
And then I didn't catch it at first because I watched that show, but I didn't watch it religiously. So I was like X-Men 97 theme. I was like, okay, I have to YouTube this. How did that song go? And then it played and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I was like, yeah, this is
that
it.
guitar riff. Like I said, it's triggering.
And so that song, that show is coming back.
It's
It's obviously the same characters.
Character lineup as X-Men 92. So essentially, they're going to course correct what happened at the end of the series. So long story short is that X-Men ran its course as a fantastic, incredible, very successful cartoon show of the 90s. And then, unfortunately, when it reached its final season, Saban Entertainment, the company that was producing the show, got very cheap. So they decided to offset it to another animation studio. Ratings started to fall. It just wasn't what it used to be.
Yeah.
They sunset the show almost prematurely and ended on not great storyline.
Yeah.
Where Professor X was unwell and supposedly dying, and so he goes off into space with his space girlfriend, Lilandra, Queen Lilandra.
Okay.
Of the God, I'm gonna kill myself for not remembering this name. But Lilandra Normani. See, I know her entire name. The Shi'ar Empire. There we go. I knew I'd get to it eventually.
There you go.
There we go. And so they're gonna pick up from that point of the story and then fix everything. And so in the discussion, they revealed the character style. It's a little different from the 90s.
Okay.
But Larry Houston, who was the director of the original series, is coming back to help kind of spearhead the character style. And then they revealed, the team is essentially the same. So it's Rogue, Gambit, Jubilee, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Professor X, Storm, and Beast, along with Morph and Magneto, I think White Queen, Sean Cassidy. I don't know if Mystique was part of it, but she used to be a main player. But the challenge with this is that, so the big deal was that they were bringing back voice actors from the original series, including one of the loves of my life, Chris Potter, who was Gambit. But one of the major original voice actors passed away. And that was Norm Spencer, who used to be Cyclops. So it's going to be interesting how they're going to either recast and or sunset any of the characters that I hear they might be killing off. So,
that's great though.
Yeah.
That show is. I didn't watch it religiously growing up, but I know it's
just so good.
It's an iconic, Saturday morning cartoon.
And it was very true to the comics at the time too, which was a big component of why it was so memorable. And it also fed comics. So it was like the original starter kit for what we now know as the MCU, right?
Marvel Studios played that long game.
Right? I was like, wow.
Long game.
And I gotta say, it was so exciting to see on top of an X-Men property for the very first time, Marvel Studios. I was like, oh my God.
It's crazy.
So great. So that's going to be fun. Magneto is now apparently going to be leader of the X-Men, which leads me to believe that Professor X is gonna go kaput in this series. So that's gonna be interesting.
First order of business. Kill
Yeah,
Professor
right.
X.
And much like the previous shows that they discussed, they did show us a bit of animation. So they showed us a storyboard animation, which is just a rough draft of, like what the final product is going to look like. And it was very cool. They played the song, some sort of iteration of the song, and it's just the X-Men fighting Sentinels. It was just so cool to see these characters, that I loved as a child and loved in adulthood and still love to this day, like coming back to life. So that's fun. I was super stoked.
Insane.
Yeah, so that's exciting. They didn't give us any swag though, so I was kind of like, huh. I wanted Baby Groot poster. So no swag, but it was fun. And yeah, so that's that. And so I guess now we can move on to the bigger topics. So on social media, we did a poll. What's your favorite reveal from Marvel's Sdcc Hall H panel? And so on Twitter, we got 8% voted for the She-Hulk trailer, which of course we'll talk more about in just a second. But 15% said that they were excited about phases 4, 5, 6. The phases do get everybody kind of like hyped up because you see everything just laid out.
They just want to see like what's next.
Yeah, exactly. 31% said they were excited about everything, which is valid because me too. But a whopping 46% said they were excited about the Black Panther trailer.
Insane trailer.
Oh God, that's so good.
It was emotional.
Yeah, definitely.
Angela Bassett's a freaking beast.
I love her.
Oh my God.
I'm so glad we got her.
That monologue in the trailer, I was like,
yes.
Damn, are you okay?
I've lost my family. Have I not given everything?
But also shout outs to Ludwig Göransson. The song. That cover.
The cover,
that's Thames.
Yes.
Thames is so good.
Yes.
And then it transitions to Kendrick Lamar's All Right. And I was like,
yes.
what the hell?
I know.
I was like, what?
So good.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the trailer.
We're going to talk about each one.
We're going to talk about the trailer. Yeah.
And then on the Instagram side of things, Captain Cheese Caesar.
Yeah, Caesar.
Said he was excited about Guardians of the Galaxy and Adam Warlock. I will second that, my dear friend.
I hope you saw the leak, Caesar. Because I did.
I have it if you haven't seen it yet. Andrew Frank 17, Daredevil.
Oh, I can't wait till we get into that.
We're going to get into all these things. It's going to be so great. RIJ143 said Avengers.
That too. I have so much.
And Leslie _Smith, the Black Panther 2 trailer, Secret Invasion.
Yes.
And Ami Agasino, Thunderbolts is set to release on my birthday. Manifesting Yelena Belova comeback. Happy early birthday.
Manifesting.
But hell yeah,
manifesting
girl.
a Yelena's
exactly.
Bucky team up there.
Yes, king. And so, before we get into the actual rollout, I gotta say, I wish they would release this footage. I mean, maybe they did. I don't think they did. But there's this beautiful opening montage that they opened the panel with, right?
Yeah.
And so it started with this voiceover from Stan Lee.
Yep.
Which automatically it's like, okay, you want to cry? They're like, we're gonna make you cry.
And it's a voiceover that you haven't really heard.
You haven't heard. It's like from some B-roll from way back when. And so anyway, he's just talking through it, and it's interwoven with the dialogue from the movies. So they just make this beautiful like montage of every single freaking MCU thing that's come out to date, including the TV shows. So they're including the Disney Plus shows now, which I don't know if you noticed, but in Thor: Love and Thunder, it's as updated that Kamala is in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fantastic to me.
They're quick, man.
They're so quick. And so like initially had been Sam Wilson, and then it was Moon Knight, and then I think, of course, the Hawkeyes, and of course Wanda and all that. But then, the latest iteration of that Marvel Studios brick thing, animation, it's got Kamala Khan in it.
But
Black Panther is, Black Panther I think is still the last one on the screen, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish everybody could see this montage. It's just gorgeous. And so they played this reel. And then Mr. Lord Feige himself comes out on stage. He's wearing the hat. He's got his trademark blazer and jeans. And he took us through phase 4 into 5. And so that said, first topic on the docket, She-Hulk. Let's go.
Coming up soon.
Coming up so fast.
Next month.
Yeah, so I think by the time this episode drops, oh no, not yet.
It won't, not yet.
No, but we'll be at least an episode or two in by the time that our next episode drops. So we'll have something to talk about, right?
Yes. Yeah, that trailer.
New
I
trailer.
I know that first trailer got a lot of flack, whatever, for
because of her appearance,
the
right?
VFX, little CGI stuff, and actually some stories about working with Marvel came out today.
Oh, really?
It was really, it was like, it's super unfortunate, but it's like, like, whatever. It's a different topic.
Yeah.
That I understand. But it looks like it's a comedy, right? This
it's very comedic. Yeah. They said it's, I think Feige or Tatiana actually said themselves, this is truly Marvel's first 100% comedy series.
Yeah.
So everything that's been funny up to this point has been funny, but this is a straight
It was like
up,
written
it's straight up written for comedy.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun watching the trailer. I was like, cool.
She looks great.
What threw me off, but in a good way, was when our good friend Wong came in, and I was like, oh, shoot. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I was like, wow, this is the Wong cinematic universe.
Exactly.
But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. A
Yep.
lot of character finding with She-Hulk, and I'm just, and we have a familiar face of Bruce side by side with her.
Yep.
So just super, super excited for that.
Yeah, definitely.
And a nice little surprise at the end of the trailer.
I know, which is the one and only Daredevil in his red and yellow outfit.
Fully didn't expect that, like, at all.
Right.
I was like, damn, I kind of like, man, I miss these. Like, I miss these trailers where you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Like what's gonna pop
Yeah.
up, and then like at the end they just hit you with a post-credit trailer.
Yeah.
And it's freaking a Daredevil.
Daredevil, yeah.
Like jumping in, and I'm like, how does that? And I was like, oh yeah, he's a lawyer.
He's
too.
a lawyer.
And I was like,
so that's one of those things that I think it's one of those things that I know I like kind of hypothesize like, oh, maybe he'll be in the series. Like but the thing is, of course, with the big picture, like studio stuff, you just never know who they're actually going to be able to get contractually, like, and what budget they have. And like, are they going to blow all their money on the CGI of She-Hulk? Like, are they going to have money to bring in Daredevil? And then lo and behold, in the first official final trailer, they freaking show Daredevil cameo at the end in his classic red and yellow outfit, which is like, oh my God. And I definitely was like, what? And so I was the nincompoop that stood up screaming in the middle of the Hall H. Like, I'm sure there was a few of us, but like, I always cheer. Yeah, like I always cheer for like, I love my street heroes again. So I like leapt out of my seat screaming like, oh my God.
I watched it on my phone, I think, and I was just like, because like, I'm such a psychopath sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'll be watching something, but I'll tap the screen to be like, oh, how much time is left?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And I was like, oh, wait, is there going to be like is there going to be a little, and then it plays this little end tag. And then there's this guy jumping, and I'm like, is that? And I was like, oh my God. And you see, you see the chucks, and you're like,
and that's the thing, right? Because like in the comics, they're very well integrated because yes, they are both lawyers.
Yeah.
They run in the same circles and what have you, but to see it on screen,
insane.
It's so cool. And so I don't know if you have done this yet, Geoffrey, but
I didn't.
Did you call the number?
Did you?
I did at the show. Yeah.
No.
Do you want to hear it?
Oh, you have it?
Yeah, I have it here.
Oh, you can just...
Okay, I can play it, right?
Okay.
It won't catch up at anything because it's just audio.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, you've reached the Superhuman Law Division at GLK&H.
Okay, this time recorded as She-Hulk.
What?
Yep.
You know they can't see me, right? Okay, whatever. Your call is very important to us. Our associates are unavailable to take your call at this time, but please stay on the line to hear about our services here at GLK&H. Have you been fined for thousands of dollars worth of damage to the city you were trying to protect? Did you accidentally create a sentient robot who got the feels and tried to destroy the world? Maybe you're an Asgardian god who leaves a giant burning imprint on private property every time you arrive on Earth.
I know who she's talking about.
We've got your back. Our associates at the Superhuman Law Division of GLK&H will fight for your rights. To fight for everyone else's rights, because that's what superheroing is all about.
Wait, what?
But don't take my word for it. Here's some testimonials from our satisfied clients. And then this is where we'd include the clients, right?
Yeah, like with their photo next to him.
Once again, phone line. They can't see us.
That
Yeah, so that's the
wow.
the audio when
Voicemail.
you call 1-877 She-Hulk. That's the audio message that comes up.
That's hilarious.
We could have recorded that. That sounded like stuff we would say.
probably.
Ooh, I know who she's talking about. And so the beautiful thing about that is that this is not the first time they've had a phone campaign.
Mm-hmm.
They previously had one for, as you could guess, Nelson and Murdoch. So you called the number and it was like, hi, you've reached the services of Nelson and Murdoch.
Yeah.
And then my favorite one was the Jessica Jones one. So you call Alias Investigations, and it's quite literally Kristen Ritter. She picks it up and she's like, hey, this is Jessica Jones. I'm not here. Leave a message. And like, that's it. And so this one's really cute because it's got Bruce and Jennifer on it. And yeah, it's setting up the tone for the
so
show
good.
so well. So that's fun. I love this.
That is.
Yeah. And I just feel like the Netflix family is like seaming together.
Oh, I know. They're
through this show.
Well, speaking of Daredevil himself,
Yeah.
we'll just touch on it real quick.
Yeah.
He got an 18 episode order.
18 episodes.
That's insane.
That is, and so I said this to actually Andrew. I think I was talking to Andrew about Andrew or my other friend. I have two big Daredevil friends now, so I get them confused quite often. So hi Vinny, hi Andrew. But I was saying how 18 episodes is essentially 3 Disney Plus seasons. So if you math the math, it's kind of like they're just gonna kind of make up for the first 3 seasons of Daredevil on Netflix. So it's gonna be an interesting scape. What they're gonna rewrite or not rewrite, or what they're gonna
But the fact
fill
that
in.
off the bat
That's nuts.
they have 18 episode
the
orders.
people want the Daredevils.
Yeah. Whether it is,
Yeah.
6th episode, whatever, I don't care what anyone says.
No.
Like, people hate it, but I'm like, dude, who cares? At
I
least they're
feel
giving.
like it's gonna be one.
Like, who cares?
Is it gonna just be the one season though? Like
I don't
feel
know.
like it's an
I just feel
18
like
episode season.
well, because like if we're going like a quick side tangent, like TV episodes before, obviously they did the 24 episode run,
Yeah.
so it's like I feel like people are so used to that.
Yeah.
And then you go to the Netflix model where they just release the whole freaking season at
Yeah.
one point. So
Oh, I know that well.
yeah, so like
Binge every.
exactly. So I think people so the whole 6 episode orders that
Yeah.
that Disney Plus and
Yeah.
Marvel have been doing.
Yeah.
I get it. People are mad because they're like, dude, what the hell is this? But it's also like, well, you don't know if we're gonna like this. Like whether you
Right.
give them
Yeah.
whether you give us 12 episodes of that, like it's probably gonna be like, well, it sucked. It started falling off after this episode.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or if you give us too little, it's like, well, it wasn't enough. I wanted more. And it's
Right.
like, well, if you have enough interest in less episodes,
Yeah.
they'll make more.
So 3 questions for you.
Yeah.
Question 1: do you think they're gonna rewrite the first 3 seasons of Netflix?
Rewrite?
Yeah.
My gut says no.
Question 2: do you think it's one season?
One season?
Do you think it's 18 episodes in one season?
My hope would be yes, but logistically,
Yeah.
no.
Really?
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, just because how they've like scheduled everything and how they
Yeah.
market and
Because
plan
the
everything.
most they've done is 10 episodes for a season, right? For any show. Like WandaVision was
That was
8 or
8.
10.
That was 8.
But Andor.
Andor.
Sorry, Andor is going to be 10.
It's gonna be 10?
I think.
And then I think
18 is still a stretch. But
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so question 3. How long do you think each episode's going to be?
that was a thing on Twitter that people
Oh,
are like,
really?
oh, like
Yeah.
if it's 18 episodes, that means it's gonna be 30 minutes long, so it's basically like 6 out type of. Like first of all, the
Naturally.
math doesn't math,
Yeah.
and either way, 30 minutes is 30 minutes. Like
That's
you're
30
getting
minutes of Daredevil we didn't have before. I'll take it.
No commercials.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the 45 range. 45 to 50.
I agree. I think it's going to be a little Obi-Wan Kenobi-ish.
Yeah.
Where it's going to
It's
hover
totally fine.
between 30 and
but
45.
there's a reason it got 18 episode order
I
off the
am
bat.
here
There's
for
a reason
it.
for that.
And its name is Charlie Cox.
Everyone was like, I feel bad. Like he's like, look, this 18 episodes. They brought back Wilson Fisk.
Yes.
So it's like,
well, and then Echo is the perfect segue for that, right?
For
like, bro.
sorry, all the tweets that I said where I saw that like Feige doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh
I'm
my
like, bro,
God. Are you kidding
like,
me?
Sorry. Like, no.
I see. I just can't. I can't deal with people like that. I just
No.
can't do it.
No.
Okay. Very quickly, I overheard while in the exhibitor hall. Right.
Yeah.
A couple of guys were like griping about Doctor Strange 2.
Sure. As one does.
And this guy literally verbatim said, I just wasn't really into the movie because like there wasn't enough multiverse. Like it's literally called Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
And I was like, did you miss the part where they announced the Multiverse Saga?
I saw that on Twitter as well.
I was like, they just announced like a full what? What are you talking about? That
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
another like
I think
stone in the pond.
This is another like a handful of comments I've seen on replies on Twitter too, where people are just like, man, Endgame spoiled us.
yeah.
Because now everyone expects like Endgame level
100%.
cameos.
Sure.
And it's like, you're not going to.
Yeah, no.
Like, no way, man. Like, that would just get exhausting at that point.
Yeah.
Then now, if you do that every movie,
Yeah, you
people
can
are
do
gonna
that.
be like, okay, well, you're losing the story here.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, hold on, but like, what do you want? You know?
Yeah. And also, like, I feel like people are just forgetting the part where it took us 10 years to get to that movie. You know what I mean?
We're
and
just
so it's
in
like,
phase 4.
exactly.
This is technically the first phase of the multiverse.
of the next, exactly.
Yeah. So
That's why
it's
I'm just like, what are you talking
wow,
about?
dude. Like, do you want a movie? I mean, and now we're getting 2-3 movies a year,
Yep.
4 or
Plus
5
shows.
shows a year.
Yeah.
Like, and you're still complaining that there's not enough.
So crazy to me. I was like, dude, what is
Come on.
happening?
Come
But
on.
this is the thing, right? The expectation. It's the
Yes.
expectation factor. And so it's like when people have this, like, okay, they want that instant gratification,
Yeah.
they'll never enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Because Marvel has been doing it consistently for that obviously those first 10 years.
Yeah.
It was a buildup.
Exactly.
And it was them trying to gain credibility.
Right.
Now that they have that credibility,
Yeah.
now they're on this highest of totem poles,
Yeah.
where it's like if there's anything less than the highest point, it's a failure.
Exactly.
You know, and it's like
what?
it's unfair. You know,
Right. Yeah. It's very unfair, and it's just unfortunate again of like how the fandom is
Yeah.
the fandom is normalizing.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna repeat this for days on end. Just take projects and art as it's presented
Exactly.
and not expect what you want to see.
Exactly.
If you just take things as they're presented and enjoy what's being told in front of you, instead of being like, oh, well, I really thought that X was gonna come up with Y and Y was gonna do this. Like,
Yeah.
you've already lost yourself.
Exactly.
So if you just take in the art and what's presented and appreciate the story that's being told from all the thousands of people working on this certain film
Yeah.
or TV show,
Yep.
you would appreciate everything, not just Marvel projects, just art in general.
Right.
Any art creative medium you ingest.
Exactly. And also there's that very distinct difference between I hope to see versus I want
I need.
to see.
If this doesn't happen,
yes,
yeah.
there's that whole obligation of sorts, and that whole like if it doesn't happen, then it doesn't it doesn't exist. It's like, well, you can't have that mentality because it wasn't crafted for you. It was crafted to hopefully get your
greater
attention. Yeah.
to the greater
Like,
storyline that's wanting to be
right.
told, but
It's-
also still in a microcosm
Yeah.
of that.
Exactly.
character.
It wants to reach these fans that want to appreciate it, that hopefully will appreciate it.
Yeah.
But it's not made for you,
Yeah.
Jeffrey.
Yeah.
So
What?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, I know, right? So I mean, this is just so crazy because like, and I say this with every major movie and every major wave of new characters, but like, this is another era of like, and a great example of like, I never thought I would see these characters on screen together
Yeah.
ever in
Yeah.
my lifetime, let alone well. you know? And
Yeah.
so now we're like, shoot, now we're going to see freaking She-Hulk? Like, that's
There's
crazy.
a lot. There's characters that we're seeing on screen now that you would have not even think or dream you can see back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s.
90s even, you know what I mean?
Like now that it's possible, it's, we're getting spoiled.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
But
the expectation.
and speaking of getting spoiled, the next one on the list is
Secret Invasion.
I know there was some footage that was shown.
There was. Yes, that's right. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I can't
I saw
tell you.
no leaks of that.
I can't tell you how many times I got bombarded with DMs. Like, hey, like, yo, you got that Secret Invasion footage? Yo, you got that Guardians of the Galaxy trailer? And I'm just like, I am not going to sacrifice getting kicked out of this hall for you, sir.
Yeah, 100%.
And so, so Secret Invasion. Oh my goodness. So yeah. Feige brought out Colby Smulders for for the panel, for the discussion. And you gotta understand, in
Yes.
real time, they only have like an hour and some change on the stage, right? To
Yes.
do all of these films. And so some of these people are quite literally on stage for like a minute. And that's it.
Yeah.
And so Colby came on, I think, after they showed the clip. So Feige always, he introduces
sets
the
up the
clip.
clip.
He sets
Yeah,
up
yeah.
the clip. So for the clip, oh gosh, what did they show? Oh my goodness.
I have the description right here.
Oh, you do? Okay.
want me to read
if
it?
you want to read it, spoiler alert.
This is courtesy of Discussing Film. Thank you for keeping like up to date things.
Yeah.
Rhodey makes an appearance.
Yes, Rhodey is there.
He makes appearances, several appearances out of armor in the footage. A first look at Emilia Clarke's character, who
Yes.
appears to be either an agent of Shield
Yep.
or Sword.
Or Sword, yeah. She was gun-toting. She had short brown hair.
I'm excited to see her debut in the MCU
Because there was no identifying factor otherwise.
Love that, especially in a
No
Secret
idea.
Invasion.
Exactly.
A first look was also shown of Olivia Colman's character, who
Yep.
was an old ally of Fury.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's what it is. It started out with that. It was Agent Hill, and she was having a debrief of some sort, and then Nick Fury comes out, because you have to remember Nick Fury has
He's
been
in space.
MIA
Vibin'.
since which film? Captain
This
Marvel? No, sorry. Which one was it?
It's Endgame. It's after
Endgame.
Endgame.
Yeah,
after
because he
Endgame.
set his stuff on fire and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So he's up in space, and so this is the first time that even Agent Hill has seen him since everything went to
Oh wow.
crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
Who helps them go undercover when things go wrong. Fury ends up getting his original costume and eye patch back.
Yep.
Oh wow. So
Yeah,
like the
he-
beanie and the long trench coat.
Yes. Yes. The eye patch.
And the-
Yeah.
And Talos faces off against a room full of
Yep.
room full of scrolls in human form.
Yep.
That's intimidating.
Yeah. I think I see. This is what I meant when I said to you the other day. I was like, I hope I retain as much as possible. I think they showed them shape-shifting a little bit, but
Yes.
not a lot. You know, like you could tell there
I
were
saw
scrolls.
another thing where I think that he was in a room full of scrolls in human form.
Yeah,
and
and then they shift.
then at one point they all shapeshift to the same human,
Yeah.
and then he's
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
So I remember when we first talked about scrolls when Captain Marvel came out, I was like, and then we were talking about the Secret Invasion, and then we're like, this got announced, and I was just
Yeah.
like, how do you even go about a war like that if everyone looks
Dude.
like whoever they can at any time?
You can't trust anyone.
Yeah. So you have a scroll invasion mixed with a multiversal war.
Exactly. And it's
Going on.
Yeah, and it's exactly like, was it Spider-Man Far From Home with Hill and Fury, right? Wasn't that the last time we saw him?
It was Far From Home, yes.
Yeah, and so throughout that entire film, even when I first saw it, I was like, there's something wrong with Hill. Like, Hill doesn't even look the same. Like, there's something about her demeanor. And then you find out at the end of the
They were
freaking
both
movie,
Skrulls.
they were both Skrulls, and that's why she was calling him Fury and not Nick. And like, there's this whole thing. And so that, just imagine that times a billion. Like,
Yeah.
no one's going to be able to trust each other because they won't know who's a Skrull and who's not unless you really know somebody.
I feel bad for Earth, man. We're just gonna be going through it, you know. I do like that funny
Yeah.
meme trope on Twitter where it's like, how come all these superheroes? It all takes place like either in New York, is that
Dude,
on
right?
Earth? Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
And it's like,
exactly.
yeah, well,
Oh,
It is.
man. Yeah, it's just like in the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Colby did mention tonally, like you mentioned at the top of this discussion, is that Secret Invasion is going to be the complete invert of She-Hulk. Like She-Hulk's going to be very comedic, very fun, very colorful, very whatever. And then Secret Invasion, dark. Dismal, dramatic,
that picture,
scary. Yeah.
That first set photo of Nick Fury.
Yeah.
When he's like, it's like gray beard.
Yeah, he's gray.
And it was just like, okay, he's been through, this is going through some stuff.
Yeah. And then regrettably, apparently they had announced that Renee Jean was part of the cast, but he is not.
He is not.
And so I was like, dang it. But also like, cool, because that means he could still be Gambit. But yeah, so apparently, because I did notice that there was somebody who looks like him in the footage, but I don't know if he filmed or if it just happens to look like Renee Jean, but whatever. So he's not in it. But yeah, the show looks really crazy, and it's going to set up that whole second film for the Avengers, for Secret Wars. Yeah.
That's right, Secret Wars.
Oh.
That's the last one, right?
Yeah, that's the last
Dynasty
one.
Is the first. Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
All right.
And then next on the docket, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So so that's going to be the first film of Phase 5.
Yes, comes out
so crazy.
Comes out early next year.
So Phase 4 ends with Wakanda Forever.
Yes.
Phase 5 begins with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, I already have a friend who has seen an early version of this film without CGI. Did I not tell you this?
No, I don't think so.
So
Wait, maybe. Say it again.
A friend who is also a listener, who works for the Mouse.
Yes.
Has seen the film as a special surprise for those Mouse people. I did not ask any details because I do not want them. I'm like, it is too far ahead. I don't want to know anything about this film. But yeah, they showed us the first footage, which I guess was more or less a trailer if you wanted it to be.
I saw the leaked angled trailer.
It's always somebody who's in front of a screen and they're always on the corner.
I know, it's never someone in the freaking back, man. Like, it's always just like, it's like literally someone just sits in front and they just put their phone on their lap and they're just like, all right. I know, it's like, but I get what I get.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. You have to James Bond this. If you're going to record it, you got to fix the camera in your hat and you got to do it right. Like, don't, whatever. Okay. Anyway, so what do you, spoiler.
I have the footage description here, and I think this is one of the plot lines I wanted to ask you about.
Okay,
too.
sure.
Scott Lang is now a celebrity and wrote a book.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So they show him like reading his book in front of people.
Does he have a big ego from what it looked like in the trailer?
A little bit. He's a little bit
now here's my question.
He's a little bit of celebrity.
Do you like that? Like, are you mad at that character? Yeah. No. A lot of people hated that.
Really? Because it's still Scott Lang.
Hated it.
You know what I mean? Like, it's still...
People are saying that's not his character. That's not who he is. And I'm like, okay, I get it, because, you know, when you think of Scott Lang, you think of the guy who, when he first got out of the quantum realm, he went straight to his daughter. Yeah. And then da-da-da-da-da. But I'm also just like, well, he's also a simple guy. Did
they see Ant-Man 1? Just curious. Because, like, even in Ant-Man 1, he had kind of an ego. Like, he had an ego about him. But that's, like, his way of dealing with his shortcomings. Yes. That's how he deals with it. And so... And even at the end of freaking Endgame, you know, like when the kids are taking a picture with Hulk, he's like, I'm Ant-Man. I'm Ant-Man. Like he's finally getting the glory that he's kind of like thirsted for. Sure. And I found it funny. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's Paul Rudd. He's hilarious.
Exactly, it's Paul Rudd.
He's a celebrity. He's wrote a book about saving the world. Mm-hmm. His ego and fame has driven him away from his daughter Cassie and the rest of the family.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
As they think he is pompous.
I mean, I think it's in a joking way. I don't think it's necessarily like it's going to divide them. Like, I don't think it's like the catalyst of like the film, where the film's all about them reuniting as a family because of his ego. Like, it's not like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
The whole Lang and Van Dyne family is sucked into the quantum realm after a freak accident.
Yep.
Janet Van Dyne leads them as she has previously survived these circumstances.
Yep.
The inside of the realm looks cosmic, obviously, with aliens and beats running rampant.
Yep.
Bill Murray's character is inside the realm.
Bizarre.
And they have he has clearly met
Yeah.
Janet in there before.
Yes.
I saw that
Yeah.
quick glimpse in the lead
Yeah,
trailer.
I was like, Bill Murray. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Kang is also narrating from inside the realm, and we see glimpses of action as he takes Cassie hostage. Whoa. A brief look at MODOK can also be seen.
Yeah, MODOK was interesting because to me, he looked more robotic.
Yes. He is golden and
Yeah.
robotic looking, comic accurately shooting lasers.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he's got weird legs and stuff.
Because it's just like a big head. Right?
He's a giant head.
Yeah, I've seen the original
Yeah.
comic.
He looks very similar
Yeah, it's
to
just
that.
more.
And also the Avengers game, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in that one
but
too.
it's just kind of like in an MCU kind of form rather
Yeah.
than like a giant bulging head in a
yeah.
helmet.
It was interesting just because also the footage of him was like he was quote unquote running on those weird little legs he
Nice.
has. And so it was like a skewed perception of him. It wasn't like a full, like a front facing thing.
Yeah.
So he was like running, but like they show him from this angle.
Okay, got it.
But he looked cool. Yeah, it was just a little different, but he looked cool. I thought
Yeah.
that I was like, holy shh.
In the final moment, Kang the Conqueror appears in his classic green and
Oh
purple
my
armor.
god, that
Although he is
reveal was
not blue.
wild. Yeah, and that everybody like when he turned around, and it's like, dude, how are you gonna put Ant-Man against Kang?
I
But then
know.
he turned around and he said something Avengers, and he's like, Avenger? Have
He's
I
like-
killed
he's
you
like,
already?
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
You remember?
He's like, you kind of made a mistake, big mistake. I'm an Avenger.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're an Avenger? Have I killed you yet?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah, and then there's like Ant-Man and the Wasp,
Quantum-Man.
and that's when they show the credit. Yeah, that was crazy to me because I was like, oh snap! But he looked, yeah. Jonathan
he's
Majors
just
is like,
he's running the multiverse in the
Yeah.
quantum realm.
but that also gives you so much insight into the character and what he's doing. So he's just killing Avengers in different multiverses all over the place.
Kang is.
Yeah, Kang is, and
I
so
wonder
it's like
if you meet any of his good variants, and a good variant is going to be like. Actually, no, because we're going to see Kang for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a couple of years with Kang,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
People are really anticipating, like, oh, like if you thought Thanos was bad, Kang is like the big bad.
Right, because like Thanos, despite what Thanos stands for and is, I mean, like he was just trying to quote unquote rectify the universe, right?
Yes.
One universe.
Yes.
Kang is all over the freaking place.
Yeah.
So he's got that going for him, on top of the fact that they all have the same agenda. And so all of his versions are all trying to do the same thing, but then like, you know, like when that power when that kind of power realizes it's at the top of the chain, oh jeez, Louisa.
Man.
Yeah, like whew, so that's gonna be an interesting film. Like that's supposed to set up even more than Loki ever did. You know what I mean? So
Jonathan Majors is
woo!
killing it.
Yeah, and then he came out with the
Yeah.
the trio. So Paul Rudd and the new Cassie. And
Look, I'm
yeah.
gonna give her a chance, obviously.
yeah,
but
she's a great
I'm-
actress. I'm just a little sad that the other one's gone.
I love Emma
Yeah.
Furman. So
Yeah, I liked.
she was
I liked
great.
her
But
a lot.
yes,
Yeah. So that was interesting. It looks good. But yeah,
Can't-
and see now I'm thinking back on it. I honestly didn't get that tonally from the film from the trailer that Scott was like losing himself to the ego. I didn't get that at all.
all right.
I just thought it was like a little plot point, but not enough to like change him.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
cool. There you go.
Yeah.
Debunked, losers.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because like, you know, Cassie in the footage even has her suit, and they've revealed that concept art.
Oh,
it's the
that's
purple
right.
suit. She has the purple suit.
Yeah. Was she wearing it in the trailer? Did she-
Yeah, she has it in the
I
trailer.
wish I saw that.
Yeah, when they put her in the when she's in the multiverse, when she's in the quantum realm.
love.
Yeah, so that's cool, and that's comic accurate too. It's purple, and I believe it's purple in Young Avengers.
Oh.
So I'm just saying. And then
Oh,
I don't know if I'm ready to talk about this. Oh my gosh! So next one, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
this one was
Dude.
insane.
Yeah, so he brought James Gunn out. I posted part of the clip, but James Gunn and his incredible memory is very similar to yours. And he was like, You know what I noticed? Today, 10 years on this stage, I was out here announcing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. And Kevin was like, whoa, what? He's like, yeah, 10 years ago. And he's like, it's been a pretty good 10 years, hasn't it, James? He was like, what? Because he couldn't hear him. And then here comes Feige, give him a hug. He's like, oh, yeah. And they were like hugging. But yeah, so it had been 10 years on Saturday.
Wow.
Since the first announcement of Guardians of the Galaxy 1. And I was there for that one. And they showed the footage for that unfinished. And it was the breaking out of the kiln scene. And so to be back there again for Volume 3 is like, for the end of that era is like kind of a whirlwind. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, where do we even start? So he set up that clip because it's very James. Oh, let me just preface that Peyton Reed did come out for Ant-Man.
Okay.
And so he did kind of set up that clip as well. But for Guardians, James set it up. And there is a tiny leak for this one too, but it's not the entire clip. Yeah. And it is also terribly shot.
Yeah.
But
I've seen it.
Oh my God.
And it's even that, I mean, I'll read the description that I have here.
Sure, go ahead.
Quill keeps trying to remind Gamora of their love.
So this is the thing. I love how that just jumps into the Quill and the Gamora thing because like, it does set up even tonally from the get-go. It feels so much more serious as a Guardians film.
That's what I got even from the leak that I saw. I was like, oh,
it's so much more serious.
And that's what I've noticed about these last 2-3 footage descriptions, trailers. Like, it's like dark.
It's dark. It's a dark version of these characters.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. But I think it's also telling, and it's also great that they're doing that, right? Because it's like, you think of the journey that they have gone through, and even despite the Guardians being in Love and Thunder, even there, they were still like, they weren't who they were in Volume 1 and 2.
Yes.
Now, they are much more serious and darker, and they've lost people. And you can see the effect of that in the way that they're presented on screen. And so when the clip opens, it shows the Benatar like, you know, cruising through space, and then it stops in this gigantic space station. And Quill's like doing the Quill thing. He's like, oh God, here we go again. Like they have to deal with these extraterrestrial and external forces. And so Nebula is like more or less feeding him what to say. And she's like, tell them you have business. And he's like, we have business. And she's like, with Gamora. And he's like, Gamora. And then he's like, what?
Yeah.
But the way, and so it's a ship of Ravagers. It's a new faction of Ravagers. Gamora comes out from all of them, and she looks more badass than she ever has. She's got like these interesting, like almost small braids, small dreads, and she's wearing the Ravager garb, and so she's wearing the leather that's very reminiscent of Volume 1 for the second half of the film.
Yeah.
And so, so Quill does, from that minute on, oh my God, my heart just broke every second. Because, it does quite literally just jump into him, flashbacks of her and their relationship. And he just keeps telling her, he's like, you meant everything to me. And she's just, the entire trailer is like, that wasn't me. That's not me. That's not who I am. That was somebody else. And it's like, oh my God. Stop it. And it's the entire trailer. And the entire trailer is like the Guardians just being sad and screaming and crying over stuff that we don't know about. And then go ahead and read the rest, I guess.
But she reminds him that the Gamora he knew is gone, and that she doesn't even know his last name. Gamora also has a new hairstyle, fits a Ravager look.
Yep.
Baby Rocket is
Baby Rocket, oh my God.
Is taken from a litter of other raccoons.
Yes,
and
oh my gosh.
And is then experimented on.
Dude, that, like the minute it came on screen, everybody was like, oh.
I'm not going to lie. I saw that there was a 5-second like kind of clip of just that section.
Yeah.
Of where it was like Gamora, or it was Nebula.
Yeah.
And then it went to and then it was a shot of the hand.
Yeah.
And then it was a shot of Baby Rocket.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
yeah.
Oh, on top of the song.
Yeah.
Do You Realize by the Flaming Lips.
Yep.
And I was just like,
yep.
Oh my God, what are we going to get here?
Dude,
like,
it's super dark, especially if you know Rocket's origin story.
Yes.
And so we talked about this, I think, in the Peter Quill episode. That in the Telltale video game, you get to play as Rocket quite a bit, and a lot of his origin is in that game, as well as. No, they didn't cover it so much in the Guardians of the Galaxy the new game, but it is very dark. It's not a happy story. It explains exactly why he is the way he is, and you see that, you get to know that side of Rocket in Volume 1 very quickly.
Yeah.
You know, like with all the mechanisms in his back, and he's just disgruntled all the time.
Yeah.
And so to see this little glimpse of him as a tiny, tiny baby and how cute he is. Oh my God, he's so cute. So they're basically going to ruin us with Baby Groot and then now Baby Rocket, which they do show twice, but in that leaked clip, they don't show the second part. So he's in it again for a very like small amount of time at the very end of the clip, but whoever recorded it didn't get that. But yeah, it's so cute and heartbreaking. That's so sad.
Yeah, as Rocket as we know him is not seen. Rocket is, as we know him, however, is not seen in any of the footage shown.
No, just the baby.
Yeah, the High Evolutionary fights an obelisk, which is the squid type monster we saw
so the
in
obelisk,
Volume 2.
the obelisk comes back from Volume 2. That's the battery eating thing. I knew that was that. I was like, what? But I mean, that's one of many, obviously. And the High Evolutionary is
I can never pronounce his name.
Chukwudi Iwuji.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
They call him Chuck.
Nice.
So Chuck made his grand entrance in the hall as the High Evolutionary. Quite awesome. I didn't expect that at all, but it was so funny because I genuinely almost couldn't tell if James Gunn was serious or not, because he was like, oh, the High Evolutionary is here. Wait, what? It's like I couldn't tell if James Gunn is just a bad actor or he really didn't know that he was going to show up in costume. So I was like, wait, what? But I didn't realize he was in the footage, but maybe, because I was so taken by it, maybe I didn't notice it. And is that the rest of the description?
That's basically it. But then, that's all they said. But I know there was a short glimpse of Adam Warlock.
Yes, there is. And he's got his classic, I want to say it's like red, black, navy, and yellow suit.
Okay.
And Will Poulter looks like Will Poulter does, but Adam Warlock. And so he's not like, at least in that clip, which of course the VFX are not 100%. That's why the trailer is not out.
Yeah, that's what
James Gunn.
James said. Yeah,
he said it's not finished. So
you can tell it wasn't finished.
You can tell it's not finished. It looks fantastic, but it's not finished. And so Warlock himself isn't like the pristine, flawless gold that the people of the Sovereign look like Aisha and the rest of them. He doesn't quite look like that. He's a little, I don't want to say, maybe it's a darker hue of gold or something. I don't know. Maybe it's the lighting, whatever. But he looks more organic than they did. You know what I mean? Like they were just so flawless.
Yeah.
He looks a little more rugged, but I mean, he was also in a battle mode. Like, I don't know what part of the film that is, but I think he was shooting a beam or something. I can't remember, but he looked great. I thought he looked great.
Oh, sorry, there was a second part to the.
Oh, well, there you go.
Groot is at his young adult stage,
Yes.
growing multiple arms in battle.
Yes.
There was an action sequence between each Guardian.
He's thick. He's a thick boy. He's not like quite adult Groot, but he's not adolescent Groot. He's somewhere in between that.
Yeah.
And he's a little like muscular. It's pretty cool.
There is an action sequence in which each Guardian, except for Rocket,
Mm-hmm.
wears the individually colored Astro suits in space.
Yes. Yeah, they have the like orange, yellow, green, and blue or something.
And the Guardians are in another clip. The Guardians are seen in their comic accurate costumes.
Yep. Yeah.
Adam Warlock can be seen in the footage. He looks like the Sovereign race seen in Volume 2, except he does have the green soul jewel, not to be confused with the soul stone.
Correct. Yeah, so that's what he was. I think he was shooting a beam out of his thing. So, I mean, this is me just, saying stuff. But this could be, if that soul gem has any of the power that the soul stone could possibly have, like even if it's a fraction, that could be a way of actually seeing Gamora in the soul world. That's super deep comic book cuts, but that's a possibility.
I hope they do also Drax a little justice too.
Dude, I have a feeling Drax is gonna die.
I hope if he does die, even if he
Yeah.
does, it's for,
A good purpose.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know Dave Bautista has expressed certain,
Yeah.
about his character.
And he wasn't there, so I'm like, and I know it's because of obligations, but I was like, oh, he wasn't there. It's kind of weird.
well, Zoe wasn't there either, right?
She was not. Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of like, oh, but the whole narrative around Dave has been so unfortunate.
Yeah.
I guess that I'm
Super
just kind of
unfortunate.
like, I hope that it's.
But
I
it's
hope
also
that
on the
ending
other
is-
end of it, it's like I feel like James Gunn wouldn't leave any stone unturned.
Yeah, I think
know?
he'll do it justice regardless of how it might seem.
But I am super excited for that
Oh,
one.
it
Like,
looks incredible. It truly does look incredible. Like, I'm not just saying that as a Guardians fan, but like, damn, like they've come a long way, and they haven't even had as many films as other characters. You know what I mean? And so for them to have that sort of team evolution within three films of their own, plus being
Infinity War.
in
Pretty much Infinity War and
and
Endgame.
Endgame.
barely Endgame, but yeah.
and Love and Thunder is like, wow. I don't know.
I know, man. Especially like an ensemble, like
Yeah.
getting all of them together.
Exactly.
And to have this much development for the characters over the course of, because first Guardians came out 2014.
Yep.
So it's like, it's been 8 years. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be 9 years when the
Yep.
movie comes out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Crazy.
Crazy.
Man.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I've already prepared for heartbreak. I know that I won't get
I feel like these
Phil
next
and Gamora
phases,
back.
these next 3 phases are just going to like,
It's going to be soul crushing.
it's going to be hard. Because like they're like now Marvel doesn't have to pull any punches.
No, they don't. Yeah, no.
Like it's like because now I know the first Infinity Saga, they were just
Yeah.
kind of like, how come you guys don't kill anybody? You know,
Yeah,
and,
no,
and
it's like you can't
now,
play safe.
And now it's like, look, we're gonna reach a darker tone. Like, and I kind of like it. I like where
Yeah.
from what I've heard and seen, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And then after that, they announced Phase 6 officially, opening with the Fantastic Four, which will arrive November 8th, 2024.
When they say Phase 6, I feel like this should be coming like
It's so
in
nuts.
2027 or 28 or something.
Yeah, no, we get it in 2 years.
But it's in 2 fucking
2
years.
years. Like, what? And so that's going to be right around the corner because it'll be November tomorrow. You know what I mean? And then from there, it's just 2 years.
Yeah.
So that's going to be insane. They showed the same logo that they presented last year, I think digitally, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so the first family of Marvel's finally coming back to Marvel. And then, Feige introduced the multiverse saga as we know it. And then, the Kang Dynasty. So that's going to be the first. That's going to be essentially the equivalent, quote unquote, of Infinity War.
Yeah.
To then be followed by, speculation of being directed first and foremost by Shang-Chi director Destin Daniel Cretton.
That news just broke today.
Woo!
By THR, and I was just
and
die.
Yeah, he's been circulating with like the secret project for forever. Is this the secret project?
Well, he's director of the 10 Rings project.
All right, the show.
And then the
Holy
Wonder
smokes.
Man. The one.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about that.
And then now he was tapped to
Whew.
direct this
King
this
Dynasty.
Avengers ensemble.
So they've got
movie.
him for the next 5 years. Basically.
It was funny. There's like an interview that he did. I think someone asked him like when he was doing Shang-Chi promos, like would you aspire to do like a like an ensemble film, like an event, like like what the Russos did? And he's like, well, it's like I don't like. He said like basically like, it's not like on my checklist, like. If the story's good, and it happens to be an ensemble of characters, then okay, where can we get like story wise, to where we tell this right, and I guess, I wonder if they tapped him or if he pitched to because that's usually how a lot of how things work,
Right.
where it's like they'll have this Marvel will have this project and then they'll have a bunch of people pitch like something to them. So I wonder if Marvel tapped him or he tapped Marvel with a pitch of like, hey, this is kind of what
I wonder.
Yeah.
Woo, that's gonna be crazy. But I mean, he's great.
He's great.
So, and I'm sure that by the time he gets to that film, he's gonna be twice the director he is already.
Exactly.
So that's gonna be fantastic to watch, like roll out.
Yeah.
And we love us an Asian creator in this house. So
Especially for a big project like
You're
that.
"Whoa, that's amazing.
Which is technically the next Avengers movies.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we haven't got one since 2019.
That's so crazy to me. So Avengers, the King Dynasty, when is that dropping? Is that 24 as well? Or is 25, 26?
It's 25 or 26.
It's got to be one of those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah, and so then they announced that as well as Avengers Secret Wars. Which is just like...
Like, what?
Oh
like,
my
like-
God.
Like, they're not even like holding back on the
Right.
name. Like, it's Secret Wars.
It's Secret Wars, yeah, like why bother? Why bother keeping it a secret at this point? But it's like the post I showed you today that Kevin Feige has apparently stated that Daredevil and Spider-Man will be like at the helm
of the street
of
level.
the street level when
heroes.
it comes to these next phases,
Yeah.
right? That's a big statement. So that means we have not. Well, I mean, did he say Peter Parker? Because there's another thing. Because it could be Miles Morales.
He's
but
smart. He knows what to do.
he knows what he's doing. He uses his words on purpose. But yeah, so theoretically, Peter Parker, perhaps Tom Holland, will be back and spearheading this with Daredevil.
Told you.
At least from the designer, at least from the street level perspective. And then, who knows who's going to be at the top of the super powered, right? Like there's so many players now.
I mean, man. Gosh.
Yeah. We got
So many like things. Like so many properties that we even 6-7 years ago we didn't think were possible to come together.
Yeah.
Like the Netflix Marvel characters. X-Men, mutants.
Mutants,
Like-
which by the way, well, I guess we're going to talk about that next, but like Namor is part mutant.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
they're going to drop the M word again. Yeah, so we'll see, but yeah. So there's so much going on.
The next 3 years are going to be interesting. And I mean, which goes to say like, I expect things to get shifted sometimes. Like he makes these announcements, but there's always something that's like,
for sure.
like things that get shifted around.
Things will change, yeah.
But
Well, it's kind of like what Iman said, right? Like, not everything's planned 10 years ahead. Sometimes it's like last minute.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
we'll see.
It's like they have ideas, but it's like, okay, what are we
Right.
trying to tell now?
Exactly. Woo! So Secret Wars, there's still time to go back and read that. So I'm sure that those books are going to be at the forefront for a little bit while everybody picks up the material
Yeah,
that could or could not be. I wouldn't heavily lean into the comic book version for the films.
yeah.
Just because there are many key players that are not necessarily going to be in the universe anymore.
But I think scrolls are an important.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. So they're going to be a big component of this, of course. And then that brings us to the final bit of the presentation, which was Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude.
An amazing
So
trailer.
they opened it with Baba Mal and
Oh, that's
the
right.
musicians, which was absolutely beautiful. And so this is the second time I've actually heard Baba Mal sing in real life. But he was literally behind me.
Oh, nice.
So that was like the best ever. So
Yeah.
he processed with his talking drummer
Yeah. And they did the
all
theme,
the way
right?
from the
Yeah.
from the middle of the hall all the way up into the stage, and they even danced and they were in traditional garb, and it was so beautiful. And then of course Ryan Coogler came out to discuss, and first and foremost, did you see what he said about Chadwick?
I forget,
Oh my
but
gosh. So he had said something to the effect of he remembered being on that Hall H stage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like 5 years ago or whatever, how many years ago, to announce Black Panther, and Chadwick was there, and all he did was just had his hand on Ryan's shoulder, just like gripping it, like just silent but gripping it. you know?
Yeah.
And that now in real time, Ryan could feel the grip of his hand with him on that stage, and he was like, Chadwick might not be with us physically, but he is here indefinitely. Like you could just feel the energy, like Chadwick Boseman was in that room.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm crying some more. It's just like, from like Guardians on, I was just like gone. I was just like, oh my God, my emotions are all over the place.
It's crazy.
And then, of course, the Chadwick thing. I was just like, oh. And so they introduced the cast first. And so it was just the main players. It was Letitia and Denai and everybody else, and of course the Riri Williams came back again. I don't know her name at the moment. I'm so sorry. And of course they brought out the new guys, with Namor and people of Atlantis, and then they introduced the clip. So what did you think about the trailer?
I mean, it's what's crazy. We've only seen Wakanda in one
film.
In one film, but also in one area. So what immediately in that trailer, we got like many different areas of Wakanda, and I was like, oh my God, I forgot how vast
it's a country.
Wakanda is. And we saw all these different parts of it. We saw it was insane. And then we had the Atlanteans coming up, and I was like, oh my gosh.
And the big question that was on everybody's mind confirmed that indeed T'Challa he dies.
Yeah.
So that's gonna suck.
That was painful.
I don't
man.
want to see
like
that.
that mural. I was like,
I don't want to see it. It's gonna be so sad.
And then Angela Bassett gives like an amazing monologue. I don't know whoever she's talking to.
Yeah,
like she's
a counsel or some
she's
sort.
lost everything apparently.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the Black Panther suit. Oh no, Namor first. Namor and.
And then Namora is the other girl. I believe that's his sister or his cousin. Yeah, Namora. And then the other two, I don't
seeing
remember.
them go at war, Wakandans and the Atlanteans, we haven't seen that in the MCU, so that's going to be very exciting to see and how that plays out.
This is their first true underwater exploration, I think, right? Yeah.
And then it ends with someone taking the helm of the Black Panther.
Who's your guess?
I don't know.
Yeah?
Obviously, people are guessing Shuri.
Yeah, that would be comic book accurate.
Yeah. But I don't know. I want to be surprised.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to go with Shuri.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Shuri. I kind of wanted it to be Nakia, because it would just be such a 180 from the comic book version of her, at least previously. Like from the olden days.
Imagine Lupita Nyong'o in that
Like
thing.
I could see Lupita for sure. Yeah, but I would also like Denai, but she's clearly Okoye.
She's
like
part
Okoye and being part of the Dora Milaje is such a stature that I don't think she needs to be Black Panther. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for it to be Shuri, just checks out. I mean, she's
she's the next. She's the sibling, kind of next up type of thing.
Yeah, she's next in line.
Yeah,
in the lineage.
But also, Nakia, right?
Yeah,
she has reasons for it too.
I know, like because she just got added to the Dora Milaje.
That's right.
Yeah, she was just enlisted in the first Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm just excited. I'm curious. Just curious to see it.
And then, of course, they're introducing Riri Williams, who is
Ironheart. See, now we're getting introductions of new characters into like these sequel movie, and it's like this is insane.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot to unpack. It's gonna be wild. But yeah, this calls back, of course, to Endgame, when Okoye was General Okoye
That's right.
was reporting back to Black Widow.
Yes.
And saying how there were some seismic plates were moving in the Atlantic Ocean.
There's like reports of an earthquake.
Yeah, earthquakes
Yeah.
and such. And so this is all derivative of what is probably going to happen.
How are you
in
handling
Black Panther
it?
2, yeah.
Net.
When
It's an earthquake. We handle it by not handling it.
I love her so much. Who is returning to The Walking Dead with Rick Grimes? Woo! But yeah, so that's going to introduce us into the Atlanteans, which of course is Namor's kingdom. He's an underwater prince who's obsessed with Susan Storm, aka Invisible Woman.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna unfurl a whole other chapter or a whole other family like of trees of other characters, you know, because like he touches on the Fantastic Four, he touches the X-Men, he touches all these other sides of the spectrum that we haven't seen yet.
Man.
So I feel like he's gonna be the catalyst for many of the stories that we're going to end up seeing in phase 4, 5, and 6, which is going to be kind of crazy because they didn't fill out the phase 6 tree yet either. The timeline, right?
That's right,
They
yeah.
just had Fantastic Four and they just had the 2 Avengers films.
Yeah.
So it's like, what goes in between of all that? And so we've yet to see it. So a Namor film could be part of it. A Submariner film could be part of it.
Jeez.
I don't know. Goodness gracious.
Who knows, man?
X-Men!
Yeah, it's that trailer was really great, and I'm like, wow. I was like, that movie comes out this year.
This year.
in November.
November 11/11/22.
It's-
Yeah.
I'm so excited for it.
I'm so excited. And that's the only footage that they played twice in the hall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the only footage.
The audience wanted it.
No, they
They're like,
played it again. They were like, all right, that's the end of the panel. And they played it again.
I can't wait to see like what's next. And I'm trying to like figure out like why am I so much more excited than like when we first heard the announcement of like these properties, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Black Panther, and then you know, like the Ant-Man and Guardians, and it's like I think it's just we're seeing them in such a new light.
Yeah.
And because it's kind of coming on to the end of their trilogies,
Sure.
sequels, things have changed, characters have changed.
Mm-hmm.
The world is the MCU is much more broader now.
Yeah. Well,
Ranging all the way from literally cosmic now to underwater and, you know, street level. Yeah.
yeah. Well, also because the track record, right? Like these are all stories that we didn't think we'd see. And also the properties that they've reacquired,
Yeah.
you know, like, and the faith that they've kind of reinstilled in everyone, like, hey, Daredevil and Jessica Jones, well, hopefully, they're not lost yet. We're bringing people back. We're bringing these stories back. Oh, also, well, we have the X-Men. We're going to bring them back in cartoon form. Hey, we're going to use the word mutant in Ms. Marvel. All these things coming together is like proof that they're really trying to pay off.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to know that, or it's nice to see that, like, sure, like, it's exciting to hear about it, but then to see it
Exactly.
like actually happening.
Yeah.
And they're living up to like, no, there is going to be another Black Panther. There's still going to be another Black Panther film. And also we're going to bring in Namor. We're going to introduce you to all these other characters that you haven't even seen in the MCU yet.
Yeah.
So it's like so cool to like actually, yeah, I think it's the payoff. I think it's the sensation that they're not just empty promising people. They're actually bringing all these characters in. And sure, it's the same dialogue from some people who are just very judgmental and very critical about, oh, well, and he doesn't look right, or he's,
Sure.
you know, whatever. But I think that there is that excitement, especially for people who are not so in tune with these characters or just only know certain things on the surface level or enjoy them or simply enjoy them for what they are.
Yeah.
That is so exciting to see it coming out. And then like, yeah, they're doing it all again. We're introducing 3 more phases. We've been through phases 1 through 3 already, and they were fantastic. And now we're in the middle of 4.
towards the end of 4.
Towards the end of 4, yeah, because Black Panther will be the end of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just months away from the end of Phase 4.
I know.
And so then that leads us into the next, and then it's like just something to look forward to, I guess.
And I think it's just also a testament to the actors playing these characters, because we love like the characters they're playing, and we fell in love with their character.
Exactly.
And so because of that, we want to see more stories out of them.
Yeah.
Like we're using as Guardians. Like we want to know more about Rocket, Peter, you know, Drax, all of them, and like now we're getting to that.
Yep.
Same thing with Black Panther. Like we fell in love with Chadwick's portrayal of T'Challa. We fell in love with that, his family, like you know, that world and that in Wakanda, and we want to see more in like that culture, and we're getting it in a more even elevated way.
Yeah.
And then same thing with Ant-Man. Before I ramble on, like now we're exploring the quantum realm.
Yeah.
We've only dabbled in it in Endgame and all that, but now it's like we're seeing like these stories come to fruition and come full circle, and it's like super cool to see whether you think that Marvel is like saturating like the movie competition or the cinema world. Sure, yeah, that's you know, you're justified in that, but it's like they're telling stories that would have never even been a first thought in the 80s, 90s, you know, like superheroes, what? No.
Yeah, it just
but
wasn't
now,
a thing.
now we're in a space where people who love comic books and love like these characters, they can see it live action and have something tangible. Yeah. And something that they're like, wow, that was insane to see on screen and see their favorite actors portray these characters.
Yeah. And it's also kind of wild because, you know, not everything has to mean something, right? They've really perfected the art of breadcrumbing, where sure they'll toss in the occasional Easter egg, whatever. Yeah. But then there are certain things like the quantum realm, where it was a mention in the second film and peppered in through Loki, but then you really start to get the vibe that, oh my gosh, it's so much more significant than it ever has been, and now it's like the plot point for the entire Ant-Man third film. And not only that, but it's going to lead us into the next phase of films. That's like so crazy. Like you never would have expected that sort of thing, right?
Not at all.
Yeah. And so I really appreciate as a fan that they do pay homage in some respects to so many things, but they also have they expand on these really what otherwise would have been absolutely impossible, you know, like concepts that they're bringing to life on
like
on
multiversal travel, story, or even storytelling. It sounds like such like a tall task to do in a movie. Yeah. And I think Marvel's doing it in such a way that's just super digestible to where it's like not confusing. And obviously yes, there's times where maybe you can like plot holes, whatever, it's confusing, but to do it in a way that's like still simple to understand, because they want to make it as simple to understand as possible. Right. It's an insane thing to do. Like what
a feat.
Yeah.
I know. But yeah, so coming out of that panel, I mean, what a way to spend my day.
I know, right? Just a whole day.
Yeah, because thankfully, you know, and I told this to Jeff before, you know, this is the second time I've ever been able to be in Hall H without having to wait in that excruciatingly long line. And so again, thanks to my friend, my friends, my new colleagues at HBO, because of our collaboration, I was able to just be in the hall. Yeah. And then I just popped a squat for the rest of the day. And I sat in that seat for 6 hours. And I got to watch all the panels before it, of course. But let me tell you, that payoff for that final hour, at least with Marvel, because there was a panel after. Yeah. Kevin Smith always closes out Saturday, and I never stay, but I do love Kevin Smith as well. But to sit there and to be able to feel the energy. And so this is kind of what I said to you when we went to the Spider-Man trailer premiere thing, right? And in all the screenings that we've gone to so far, is that there's this certain kind of energy in the room that is so incomparable to, sure, maybe you're seeing the trailer within seconds after I'm seeing it, but being in the room is such a different feeling than watching it on a laptop.
It can't be
so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why people wait in line. And that's why people want to be in that room and,
Yeah.
or even be within a breath of a screen in that room, you know?
Yeah.
And you just can't replicate that. You can't. And it's
Undefeated
like, whew.
experience. I hope
Yeah.
one day
Yeah.
I can experience
I'm
that.
going to work on those press passes for us, buddy. We're part of a stark contrast. Don't you know who we are?
We will get there.
Yes.
Our passion will
certainly
get
hope
us
so.
there.
Yes, I hope so. So I'm going to work my damnedest to try and get us in that hall as professionals of this show come next year so you can feel the hype. Insane. So yeah, so that's the end of
Wow.
the show. Anything else you want to chit chat about from Comic-Con?
That was pretty much it. Just so much good stuff.
So much good stuff. And so I would assume that hopefully we will see the trailer for Guardians come out in the next few weeks. Hopefully.
I don't think. I
Really?
feel like we won't. Maybe not till the end of the year.
I know. I kind of felt like that was going to be
Because it doesn't come out till
for,
summer next year, right?
Yeah, I thought that was going to be held for Black Panther, to be honest. I don't think, if we're going to talk realistic timeline, that's not going to be served until November.
Yeah, because they're gonna go on their She-Hulk promo soon, on their calendar soon.
Yep.
And then I'm assuming.
What if, I think.
And then I'm assuming.
Oh, I am Groot.
I thought it too. Wow. Yeah. So they're gonna be doing those side by side, and then in the midst of all those, those two, because November is about
Black Panther.
Yeah, November is about 3 months away. 3 months away.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to ramp up the Black Panther marketing about a month
Synonymous with What If, because I think What If is in October or so, isn't it?
Is it?
I thought it was. I don't know.
Isn't the holiday special also releasing?
Yes, the holiday special comes out in December.
Okay, so this quarter 4 of this year is going to be stupidly insane.
Yeah.
We're gonna get just different, like a post every day. It's like, boom, new episode of She-Hulk. Boom, new episode of Iron Groot.
Yep.
Boom, What If. Boom. Also, you've got Black Panther's coming out, by the way, and then boom, I'm come October, probably.
Oh my gosh.
Probably the holiday special promo will start.
Right. And that's not even counting all the stuff that we didn't even cover for the end of Phase 4 or going into 5 with Captain America 4 and the Thunderbolts and everything.
Oh, yeah. We just talked about stuff that had footage.
Yeah,
we didn't even talk about the things that got
the stuff
announced.
that mentioned. Yeah.
But
yeah. Dude,
exciting stuff. Exciting.
I can't wait.
The rest of this year is going to be really, really exciting.
Great. I can't wait. Good time to be a Marvel fan. Let me just tell you guys.
Super exciting.
Great time.
Because of this pod, whatever friends listen, they always ask my opinions on
That's so
things.
cute. I love it.
Yeah. So what do you think? And it's like, I always have like an unbiased like
right? It's
like
hard.
did you like it? And I was like, yeah, it was cool. 'Cause I'm never gonna hate anything.
No,
like,
same.
Just in general.
That's why we jive.
Yeah, I can't hate on anything.
I just like it less or more than
like you're not
another
gonna
thing.
catch me like being like, oh my god, Doctor Strange 2. Well, let me tell you, there wasn't enough characters in there. Multiverse?
Like, how
talk
dare-
about
oh my
one
God.
verse. Like what? I was like, okay.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
no. So I enjoy everything.
So I have one question for you, Jeff.
Yes.
Have you decided what toy you're keeping? If not both.
Can I take both?
They're literally for you.
Okay. Well, then
I
I'm
did
going
not-
to take.
Yes!
Sam is gonna walk into my room.
It's just going to be a Wanda shrine.
She's gonna be like, "What the hell is this?"
She's on your lock screen. You've got her tiara. You have her Mickey Mouse ears. And now you've got a
do.
Pop Adam emoji. Fantastic.
You know who you can blame, guys, besides Elizabeth Olsen? You can blame Andy Park for his design of her costume.
There we go. See, there are many, many, many people at fault here. Many people.
Her costume is so good.
Yeah, see, that's the other thing. I was like, it's the Darkhold costume.
It's the tiara.
Yeah.
It's the inscribed
yeah.
like thing on her costume.
The
The
vision
red
stuff. The red, the crimson,
like the red is
the
just
scarlet.
Like, it's just her.
It's great. The Scarlet Simp.
Yeah.
Nothing but the best for the Scarlet
God.
Simp.
God.
So thanks for listening, guys. Next episode. So yes, we're going to finally get back on track. We're going to cover Ms. Marvel herself, Kamala Khan, and
Yes.
hopefully you're all caught up with the show because genuinely one of the best things Marvel's produced lately. A We Are Groot salute to Ed, Nats, Ashley, Joe, Liz, Andrew, Andrea, Claire, Tyler, Robin, the Arachnid, Laura, Katie, Melanie, Jenny, and Ariel, as well as our other wonderful patrons from other tiers who continue to support the show. We love you. Thank you so much. All across the globe. Follow us on social at STRKCNTRST. And if you like what you hear, you have a second, please review, rate, and or subscribe. It helps us heaps.
Hit it.
And that's it.
Yes.
Yes. 5 stars. 5
Yes.
stars. 5 stars.
Once again, thank you guys, and we will see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
I love being with people. It's the most incredible thing in the world.
What are you doing? Oh, this is nice.
That world may change and evolve. But the one thing that will never change, we're all part of one big family. That man next to you, he's your brother. That woman over there, she's your sister.
Higher, further, faster, baby.
That's right.
We're all part of one universe that moves ever upward and onward to greater glory.